debut on Sunday, head coaching debut. The Steelers are coming to town. Of course, one of the first moves Glenn made in New York was moving on from Aaron Rodgers, who eventually landed in Pittsburgh. As for Glenn's new quarterback, Justin Fields, he met with the media earlier this afternoon.
It's just all about, me playing efficient, me playing smart, taking care of the football on the offensive side of the ball, especially this upcoming Sunday. I think they led the league in turnovers last year, so that's going to be one important factor that we're going to look to do this Sunday. And like I said, just continuing to get better each and every day, each and every week, and progressing throughout the season.
You got some raised eyebrows from those conspiracy theorists on the script writing of the NFL script writing conspiracy with this game. Dan, either way, the Jets elected to go with Justin Fields instead of Rodgers. What are you looking to see from the New York offense in Week 1 against Fields' former team?
45 runs at least. I think the Jets should try to run the football for at least 45 rush attempts against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I look at it this way. Ben Johnson in Detroit, they ran the ball about 30 times a game. Okay, so Tanner Engstrand, who was in Detroit with Ben Johnson, now the offensive coordinator with the Jets. So 30 rushes is what he's used to. Justin Fields has run the football in his starts in the NFL at about 9 times a game. That's 40 right there. If I'm the Jets, I'm going to make this an ugly football game. I'm going to make it a violent, physical football game, specifically if Cam Ward doesn't play. And I want to get it to the fourth quarter and make it a and use motion in my run game as much as possible. That is what Pittsburgh has struggled with defensively, stopping the run. Honestly, my number was 50 at first, and then I dropped it down. I will run the football 45 or more times.
Dan, I am dying because we did not talk before this. I wrote down 10 carries for Justin Fields and watched the hell out of that Ravens tape against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I wrote 10 because, look, this Jets offense is not going to have many advantages against most teams. Let's be real. I think they're going to have a sneaky, decent offensive line, which they've invested a lot in. The one advantage they should have in every game is a numerical advantage. If Justin Fields does not carry the football significantly more than he did last year, I want to go back to Chicago when he had 160 carries. I don't know what they're doing because that is how they can beat teams, is his legs. He's still an elite runner. And this isn't saying he can't throw the ball. It's saying lean into what you do best and where you have an advantage over these teams. And it is absolutely something they should do against Pittsburgh Steelers. And if they do it, it'll be a good test for the Steelers defense.
Yep, I love y'all, and this is our first disagreement on the season. I agree that they should run the ball a lot, but this team not going to be successful if Justin Fields don't progress at pushing the ball down the field. Y'all, we know it. We've been talking about it for years. We could have these conversations about they got to run it 45 times. If they do that per every game, they not going to win nothing, okay? That's just going to keep them safe, and hopefully teams give up some explosive plays in the run. This guy is going to have to become an intermediate and a better deep ball thrower based off of them being able to run the football. I get it that that's the best way to go forward, and his legs are dangerous, and you have to use them. But the reason why we talk about the Ravens and the reason why we talk about these quarterbacks is because, one, Lamar had progressed. He's pushing the ball down the field at a very high level. That is something yet to be seen from Justin Fields. And cool, if you want to be the Jets and establish the line of scrimmage and be physical, great. And you're going to still lose. He's going to have to start pushing the ball down the football field for a team to have success with him as starting quarterback.
Yeah, I'm with you, just not in week one, though. I agree throughout the season, but Marcus, you're talking about a secondary that is Joey Porter Jr., Jalen Ramsey is going to be all over the place, the addition of Darius Slade. Like, this is a big-time secondary. They've got Garrett Wilson, a really nice player in New York, obviously.
What's up, Steelers Nation? Welcome back to Steelers Nation Wire, the place where every black and gold heartbeat gets a little bit louder. Today, we're talking about one of the most anticipated storylines heading into Week 1 of the 2025 NFL season. Aaron Rodgers, in black and gold, facing his former team, the New York Jets. And on the other side, Justin Fields, lining up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, the very team that gave up on him not too long ago. This game isn't just about football, it's about pride, revenge, legacy, and the future of two franchises heading in very different directions. Let's break this down because there are layers upon layers to this matchup, and I know every single one of you in Steelers Nation has an opinion. Make sure you drop those thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe because we're going deep into the heart of this Week 1 showdown. First off, let's talk about Aaron Glenn. He's making his head coaching debut for the Jets. Imagine this, your first game as a head coach and you're lining up against Mike Tomlin, one of the most consistent, respected, and battle-tested coaches in NFL history. Glenn doesn't just have to prepare for the Steelers as a team. He has to prepare for Tomlin's mentality, his culture, and his ability to get the absolute most out of his guys. That's already an uphill battle. And now you add in the emotional layers with Aaron Rodgers? Man, that's pressure like no other. Now let's move to Aaron Rodgers himself. Steelers Nation, this is history in the making. Rodgers, one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen, is stepping on the field, not as a Packer, not as a Jet, but as a Pittsburgh Steeler. He's a captain, he's embraced the locker room, and he's got the keys to an offense that's been rebuilt around him. He's got DK Metcalf on the outside, a young, hungry offensive line, and Jalen Warren ready to pound the rock. Rodgers has said all the right things, put in the work, and built chemistry with his guys. But here's the kicker. This isn't just any Week 1 game for him. This is a revenge game. This is Metlife Stadium, the very place where he tore his Achilles 2 years ago, where everything fell apart for his time with the Jets. You don't think that's in the back of his mind? You don't think he wants to step back into that stadium and light it up? Steelers Nation, Rodgers is coming in with fire in his eyes. And then there's Justin Fields. This guy's got to feel like he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. Think about it. He was in Pittsburgh last season, had a winning record when he stepped in, and still got benched for Russell Wilson. The team let him walk with no real plan in place. And now here he is facing the Steelers in Week 1 as the starting quarterback for the Jets. He's been saying all right things about being efficient, protecting the football, and getting better week by week. But let's be real, Fields knows this is personal. He wants to prove to the Steelers, to Mike Tomlin, to Omar Khan, to every single person in Pittsburgh who doubted him that they made a mistake. But here's the problem for Fields. This Steelers defense is no joke. Joey Porter Jr., Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, that's the secondary that looks like it belongs in a Pro Bowl lineup. And when you add in TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith crashing off the edges, you better believe Fields is going to be under fire from the first snap. The Jets can talk about running the football 45, even 50 times, but this isn't college ball. You're not going to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers by trying to grind the clock and hide your quarterback. You want to beat Pittsburgh? You got to throw on them. And Fields hasn't proven he can do that consistently at the NFL level. Now I know some analysts are saying, run the ball with Fields, let him use his legs, make it ugly. Sure, he's a dangerous runner, but let's not forget, this isn't just about one game. The Jets need Fields to grow as a passer. Because if all you're doing is leaning on his legs, that's not going to win you games in December, and it's sure not going to get you to the playoffs. The Ravens figured that out with Lamar Jackson, who turned into a dangerous passer to complement his running ability. Fields isn't there yet. For the Steelers, this game is about setting the tone. Mike Tomlin knows the AFC North is a gauntlet. You've got the Ravens, Bengals, and Browns, all tough, all physical, all playoff caliber teams. Pittsburgh cannot afford to stumble out of the gate against the Jets franchise that hasn't sniffed the playoffs in over a decade. This has to be a statement game. Rodgers has to show he still has the arm, the poise, and the fire. Jalen Warren has to show he can handle RB1 responsibilities. DK Metcalf has to prove he can dominate in black and gold. And the defense, they have to remind the league that Pittsburgh still plays the kind of hard-nosed, smash-mouth football that nobody wants to line up against. And let's not forget about the Cam Hayward situation. He's been pushing for a new deal, and while Tomlin expects him to play, there's still some uncertainty. But if there's one thing we know about Cam, it's that he bleeds black and gold. He's been the heart of this defense for years, and even if he's not 100%, I expect him to bring everything he's got against the Jets. So Steelers Nation, here's my take. This isn't just a game. This is a defining moment. For Rodgers, it's about proving he's not done. For Fields, it's about proving he was worth holding on to. For Tomlin, it's about showing once again why he's one of the best coaches in football. And for the Steelers as a franchise, it's about telling the rest of the NFL, we're back, we're serious, and we're coming for Lombardi number 7. But I want to hear from you. Who do you think this game means more to, Rodgers or Fields? Do you think the Steelers made the right call moving on from Fields, or are we going to regret it on Sunday? And do you believe Rodgers can finally lead this team to that elusive playoff win we've been waiting on since 2016? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you're fired up for Sunday, and don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Wire for all the latest takes, breakdowns, and reactions all season long. Steelers Nation, this is our year to rise.